Thanks.
Good. So, how's it going? Tell us what to expect. Have there been any surprises as you put your team together, your first team?
Everything's going really well. Yesterday I felt really good about where we're at this moment with what we've been teaching. The chemistry is very, very solid. For this many new people to come together, I think it takes time. But I do think that we've done a lot of off-the-court things as well as on the court to bring this team and the culture as close-knit as it possibly can be, because I do believe that's worth 10 or 15 points. And I really want this group to know each other long before they make a movement or a pass or a cut, that they know they're doing it. And I want them to work hard for each other because they care about each other. And that takes time to develop, but I do think we're really on target as far as where we need to be at this moment. We have a lot of improvement to do, but I do think we're in a really good place at this moment.
What are some of the things you've done away from the court? What are some of the activities or things you've done together to try to get the team to mesh?
Yeah, we had a mental toughness coach come in that's worked with the Major League Baseball teams as well as USA Basketball. His name is Dr. Spencer Wood, and we went through a workshop together. I think they learned a lot about just how to think about obstacles and how to plow through. I do think there's a moment in time in sports where you have to make a decision in your mind, and sometimes you got to conquer it in your mind before you conquer it physically. That was one of the things. We've done some cooking classes. Many people might not think that is a team building activity. It's hilarious to watch some people that haven't cooked before that think they're great chefs. But just the laughter.
Where, is that on campus or off campus?
It was here in Watsco, and our chefs here on campus did a tremendous job of leading our kids through 3 or 4 of those, and then we did a competition on the last one, which was hilarious. They were trying to bribe the judges, but they did a great job.
Like nailed it, kind of like the nailed it thing?
They did. They all took on a different. One took on breakfast, and it was some omelets. Another one, I believe, did a bowl that included some. I think they gave them some special ingredients. They did it just like chopped. So there was some pressure with the time that they had as well. And some did pasta, some did steak. But I thought they did a great job. I just think it's good to get people out of their element and to do things they're not used to doing, so that maybe our older players remember what it was like to be a freshman. And for our freshmen to kind of be on some common ground with our older people. So I do think that things like that have been really good for us.
What do you think the identity of the team is going to be? Obviously, a few practices, and what really stands out about this group of girls to you?
They work extremely hard. They're in the gym a lot. They want to get better. They're eager. They're hungry. And we have a lot of veterans. You look at the 2 Cavender twins and Jazz. Those 3 were on our Elite 8 team. And so we have some veterans that have not only been here, but they've won here in a big way. And so I think they do a great job of setting the tone and the standard every day in practice. Then you add, Cam Williams, who was a starter on Michigan's team, who enjoyed a lot of great success there. I had a chance to coach against her, and she has a great IQ. She finishes really well around the basket, either hand. And then, Natalie Marshall does a phenomenal job of just she's quick up and down the floor. She can drive, she can shoot. I think the identity of this team is basically we're going to be an up-tempo team, but we're very skilled, and so it's going to be hard to stop one of us and stop all of us. We've got multiple players who can score 20 points on a given night, and I think that's what's going to be fun about this team is we're very skilled. We're going to try not to beat ourselves, so have few turnovers, shoot a high percentage, take quality shots, but definitely run and play up-tempo.
I want to ask, what was your preconceived notion of the Cavender twins before you got to work with them, and how has that perception maybe changed, or what did you expect from them coming in versus what you've seen from them?
All I knew was I had watched a little bit of the Indiana game because the head coach at Indiana is a teammate of mine, and so I watched that game from a standpoint of just a fan. And so really appreciated their game from watching, both their individual games from watching that game, and it was such a big win for the Miami program. And then, obviously we all know about the social media aspect of their lives. Right. So I didn't have much to go on other than, what I saw on social media. But one thing I will say, it's usually the first question out of anyone's mouth that talks to me is, hey, tell me what they're really like. And the great thing is I can answer in a pretty phenomenal way, and that is, they're the 2 hardest workers I've ever coached. They have a great mindset. They are so competitive. If their team loses in a drill, they want to go again. They want to add more time. I love kids like that because they are very hungry to be great, and they're very great with their time commitments. Even though they do have a lot more going on. Just the other day they were in the Forbes 30 for 30 in Cincinnati, but they're great about talking to me about things that are happening so that we're not switching things up all the time. They do have honors that a lot of kids I've coached have never had before. And I want to make sure that those are once in a lifetime opportunities for them, that they get to do them, but we also keep the main priority the priority, and that's our team, and that is building for the future of this team. And they are very great about keeping that the priority. It has to be. But one thing I'll say about them, I think these two things tell a lot about them. I had the team over to my house to swim, and they said, "Coach, we got to deal with the taco place. Can we bring tacos for everyone?" They could have kept those tacos for themselves, but they constantly think about the team. They had a chance to throw out the first pitch for the Marlins. And instead of it just being about them, they made sure the whole team was invited to come down on the field and say, play ball. I think these type of things constantly show you where their heart is. They're great teammates. They care about their teammates. They want the best for everyone, not just them. And I think they've done a wonderful job of setting the standard for work ethic and attitude and how to be a great teammate with everyone in our program.
Coach, there's a ton of change this offseason, and of course, you coming in, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of excitement in the building. But you mentioned veterans, right? And especially a player like Jasmine Roberts, who's been here. She's lived through this program. She represents the U. How have you relied on players like her and the Cavender twins and all the veterans you have on your roster to kind of help you settle in and help you learn the program and kind of establish, a working relationship where you guys are improving each other and then kind of the team as a whole?
I think the first thing I did was sat back and watch film and tried to make sure that we're not taking them away from their sweet spot, and that is what they're good at. I want to make sure that, we put Jazz in a lot of positions to be that versatile player that she is. She can play inside and out. And so I want her to feel really confident when she's out there, even though some of the things we may run may be a little different. She still gets to go back to what she's good at. And then with the Cavenders, they both shoot the heck out of the ball. I mean, their shooting percentages are phenomenal. They both handle the ball really well. They're very unselfish, and they work really, really hard on defense. I think, and even rebounding. I was surprised at what great rebounders they are. So I think what they've done is held the standard of everybody else in practice to say, hey, we've got to go this hard in this drill, and hey, we're not done with this. Hey, do it again because that wasn't right. I love that. And so I think they've helped me in letting me know where they're comfortable and what they like to do, and I'm trying to put them in those situations. And then I'm also giving them some things that may be a little out of the comfort zone to say, I think you can also be better at this. And so I think we're helping each other, and that's what this whole staff is doing. But I will say I'm really blessed that I'm around a really amazing staff. All of them have helped me be better here. If it was just on me, it might not be as easy. But I've got, Fitz, who's been here for years, that understands the history of what this program has done and the way they're used to learning, which speeds up the process. But then to have two people from my previous staff that know me like nobody because they've worked with me 4 years and 6 years. And so Danielle's touting the fact she's been with me as assistant the longest, which I don't know if that gets her any grace or not. But and then Muriel did a phenomenal job in her playing and coaching career. They all bring a little something different, but they're all really good. And so our players, I just walked past a film session and just listening to what they're teaching them, they're getting great information from my staff. And we're really blessed to have the experience that we have.
Aurora and Lamai coming off injuries, just how are they coming along so far in early place?
Really good. They're not completely fully released yet, but they're in competitive drills, which is great. They're not just limited to 1-on-0 or 2-on-0 or 5-on-0 going through things. They've been able to go against defense. They're not completely released for 5-on-5 live yet, but the good thing is we're slowly working them in, and I do think as we get toward the beginning of the season, we should see both of them being either released or close to released. And so I'm really thrilled about that for depth purposes. Obviously, I know what an integral part Lamaya Hilton was to this program, and when she got hurt, it really hurt the program last season. And with her height and length and ability to shoot the ball, we need her. And Aurora brings us great depth at the 5 position. She's a physical player, which I love. I mean, who doesn't like a 5 that wants to have contact? Can't find those very often. So love that, love her energy.
Yeah, Leah Harmon stood out in the practice we got to see a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Do you think she'll be in the rotation and any of the other freshmen?
I think all the freshmen have a chance. I do think as of late, Leah's done a really good job of making sure that she's listening and trying to do what we ask. But she's also got a great court vision. She takes really good care of the basketball. She pushes the ball well, and she can really shoot it. And when you say all those things together, it's going to be hard to keep her off the court. I think she makes us better, and I think Nay's speed. Nay Adams is a phenomenal athlete. She can run a lot faster than I ever dreamed of being. And so we want to use her speed and quickness to get downhill, create shots for other people, as well as use her quickness to hound the ball. Because I think defensively she could be really good. And then, Simone can really shoot it. And I would definitely want to take advantage of her ability to stretch the floor.
Year one here at Miami, and you're already getting a trip to Hawaii. Can we talk about being able to piece together that schedule and set this team up for another deep March bid?
Well, I'll laugh with you. When I took the job, Margie came into my office and she said, "We need to finish. We need a couple more games." And she said, "There's a tournament in Florida." And I go, "We're in Florida." And then she said, "Well, how about San Diego?" And I said, "I just went to San Diego with my team last year." And she said, "Maui." And I said, "Don't let the ink dry. Please sign that yesterday." And that's a true story. I think not only is it a great trip, to play a game and two games, but it's also great for team chemistry and bonding because we'll have chances to take our team to go experience some things while we're there. One great thing about this tournament, and it's ran by Oregon State, is that there's a community service element to this tournament. And so we will actually be going out and I believe helping young kids at one element of this tournament. So it's not all glitz and glamour, but I do think it's a way to keep us grounded. And I think it's phenomenal that that's an element. You don't see that very often in holiday tournaments. But I love the fact that we get to go to a beautiful place. We're still giving back to the community and we get to play two great games. And many of our kids haven't been to Hawaii. So what a great experience for all of us.
Tricia, I wanted to ask about, one of the things you talked about and that you're known for is growing the fan base. How do you see, have you seen, you haven't played any games yet, but what have you been doing or what has the team been doing? How do you see that developing?
It's an ongoing process. As that old cliche, Rome wasn't built in a day. But I do think that getting out in the community has been a staple since we got here. Our kids have done a wonderful job, and our staff of making sure that they've gotten out to different groups. They went to the YMCA to help run a clinic one day. They went to help feed some individuals in our community that needed meals one day. We are still in the process. I do believe we're going to help out with one of the Coleman races and nearby. Margie will have to help me with the city. But there's one within 30 minutes of us that we're going to try to partake in and help maybe at a water station. During Halloween, I think that's a great time to advertise your program. So we're going to make sure that there's a Boo at the Zoo that we're going to help out with. There's also some trunk or treats. And you'll laugh, but what a great time to give out posters. What a great time for our kids to sign autographs and meet young kids. And hopefully those posters hang up in their rooms and they're constantly reminding their parents they need to come to games. And then I've told them anytime I can get out and speak, Fitz and I went to the Chamber of Commerce meeting for Coral Gables. I'm in the midst of trying to set up some more meetings with different groups to make sure that I'm reminding people that we're here and that we need them. I think building a fan base, number one, is making sure you get the word out and that people meet you. It's never been about advertisements or billboards. That reminds people that they know the person on the billboard. If they don't know us, we have to meet them. So we've got to get out in the community, meet people, establish some relationships, and then we've got to win because people want to support a winner. So we've got to do our job in the beginning of getting the word out, and then we've got to do our job on the court. But if we put those two things together, I do think we can build this fan base.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.